Welcome to my channel. My name is Nina, and today is our Ladies Bible Study. I just found out, I was putting all of my videos together in YouTube, and I found out that I had missed one of the ladies' names, so I'm going to do that one today. So they're going to be out of order a little bit. My devotion journal that I have and have been using, they're all in alphabetical order. So we are going to go to ABISHAG today. And the devotional journal is the top 100 women of the Bible. And this is going to start in 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 3. And there it is, verse 3. So they sought for a fair damsel throughout all the coast of Israel, and found Abishag, a Shunammite, and brought her to the king. I apologize if I've said that wrong. Alright, in the journal. Abishag had an unusual job, keeping the old and infirm King David warm. And not just by covering him with blankets. The comely Abishag was expected to crawl into bed with the king. David's servant said to him, "Let her lie in thy bosom, that my lord the king may get heat." And that's exactly what happened, as Abishag ministered to David in a non-sexual way. We have no biblical record of Abishag's feelings toward her job. Perhaps she was pleased to be chosen as the great king's personal body warmer. Maybe she was found lying in bed with a dying 70-year-old man distasteful. And perhaps her feelings shifted from day to day. Our feelings toward our own responsibilities at home, at church, at the office, wherever, can vary widely. But whatever we've been called to do, we should do to the best of our abilities. As the Apostle Paul wrote to the church in Corinth, which is found in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 2. Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. Okay, back to the journal. Dream job or nightmare, know that God has called you to this particular time and place. Do your best, and, if appropriate, pray for the chance to move on. I loved what they wrote in that last little sentence there, because I'm sure, well, I don't know, I shouldn't say I'm sure, but this young girl, Abishag, was a beautiful young lady, and a virgin, and chosen to keep King David's bed warm. Now, I'm not so sure about how I would have felt. Maybe, like it said, maybe it was a privilege to her. And I don't know what her reward would have been. Was it just to be chosen? And that's what her reward was? I don't know. So, when I read this months ago, matter of fact, I read it back in January, I wrote a couple little notes. I said, wow, I'm in awe. This girl must have had so many thoughts run through her mind. A young virgin, I would have loved to have heard her story. She would have had to have a very good heart. And maybe she had a heart like a nurse. She wanted to be a servant, or be of service to someone. Makes me wonder why, and this part, I was going to bring it up, and I had written it in my notes, in January. Makes me wonder why they didn't get a 50-year-old widow, someone that is starting through those hot flashes. She would have kept him really warm. And I have no idea why they didn't do that. Maybe he just was used to beautiful women all of his life, and he wanted a beautiful woman beside him. I don't know. But that is our little lesson for today. Very short one. So, in your life, have you been asked or chosen? Or have you yourself found a position or job or something that you only took because maybe the money was better, or whatever the reason? Have you ever looked back and thought, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that? Or did you ever look back and say, geez, I'm glad I did that. It made a difference in my life. It's just some things that we can sit and think about. Have we been chosen to do things by God? and we have been afraid to do them. And so therefore we lose out on a big blessing from him. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I have been chosen for something that maybe in biblical times would have been like that story, something that could have been maybe great. It was a great privilege to her. And I don't know, I was sitting thinking, trying to think about my life, if there's anything that I would consider maybe that the Lord has asked me to do. And I think that there probably was a few things that ended up teaching me a lot of lessons. A few things that I have done that have taught me that I wasn't happy with who I was at that time. I wasn't happy keeping a spot of anger in my heart, towards someone. And so I think everything that he has for us can be a lesson, and we just need to be open and keep our hearts and minds open, and maybe everything that we do is going to either help someone or hinder someone. And everything that we do for ourselves even can, we're either going to take a step back or a couple steps forward. So just think about that. Is there something that maybe God is wanting you to do right now that you're fearful of, or that you're grossed out? You just can't, I don't want to do that. That's nasty. Just like this poor young girl having to just, I guess cuddle up with a 70-year-old man. That wasn't her father or anyone. It's just someone that, it was the king, So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Just take a little walk through your heart and mind and see if there's something that maybe that you could be doing or that God is wanting you to do, and think it over. Maybe there's huge blessings afterwards. I can say one little thing for me. When I got the job that I lost, and I made a video on that, that job was a humongous blessing to me. It paid hospital bills when my husband had his transplant. At the end of the job, I had a lot of anger, and actually, I'm ashamed to say, hatred toward one of the women that worked in the office, the room that I worked in. And it caused me many heartaches. I could not hardly shake that. And I can honestly, from the bottom of my heart, tell you, I have never, ever held a grudge. I have people that have held them against me, and I've always just, I guess what I've always thought to myself is, I don't always need to know what people are saying about me. And that way, it keeps my mind and my heart clear. But this time it was me that held the grudge and the hatred. And I've honestly, I had prayed and prayed, oh my goodness, probably over 2 years, at least weekly about this, and sometimes daily about this female that had given me a lot of grief. And some of my actions toward her might have been her being angry with me, might have been justified in some of the actions that I had taken toward her. And as I look back now, I can see all that. But there was a lesson that God was trying to tell me, I've moved on. I have gotten peace. And now I can look back and I can praise Him for letting those things happen, because now I wouldn't be able to work, and I wouldn't be able to do the job that I was given like I used to do the job. There used to be tons and tons of work for me to do. And toward the end, there wasn't hardly anything. And some days I would sit and try to, make things up so that I would keep busy, like clean out the drawers in my office and alphabetize things and just anything to keep my hands busy. And now I guess that the business is booming, and I'm thankful for that. I hope that God does bless them, the business. And it took me a long time. After I got let go, they let go 6 other people in the office that day. And I was hurt. And I had never in my life lost a job. Never. I always prided myself in the work that I tried my best to do. And that was the first time that I was actually told it was a permanent layoff. And I was crushed. I truly was. Even though I kind of felt like all along it was going to happen, it hurt deep. And I remember crying all the way home that day that I was let go. But you know, it's been a few years since then, and I can see where God has taken me, and I know it was his plan. So therefore, I accept it, and I love him, and I'm going to try my best to do what he wants me to do, and not speak for, you know, sometimes people get around other people and they speak wrong, or they talk about people, and that's what I was doing with this girl. I couldn't, it was like I was, what is the word I'm trying to look for? All I could think about. Not engrossed, but infatuated. No, that would be toward, I'm not sure what the word is, but you guys, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. She consumed my thoughts all the time and made me angry and made me constantly stressed. And once I realized and got that out of my head, it was keeping me from being who God wanted me to be. And it was keeping me from doing the studies of the Bible. And it was keeping me from being kind. And it was keeping me from the vow that I never wanted to be a gossiper. And that's exactly what I was being. So, yes, there can be blessings and there can be curses. And sometimes it's our own fault for the things that happen that cause us a rough way to go. So my life, you know, has not been perfect. I am not perfect by any means. And I have still much more to learn. I hope that the Lord will let me live long enough and just keep letting me learn. But so I just wanted to leave that with you. And I'm sorry I said that once already, but take a few minutes to think and decide if there's something that maybe you should do that you haven't been doing. Maybe it is to help someone. Maybe it is to take a step in a direction that you're scared to death to take. I don't know how the Lord's working with you. So only you do. Maybe it's to sing a song in church that would really bless a lot of people. Maybe it's to pray for someone. Whatever it is that the Lord wants, do it and see what happens, okay? And if you do and you find out, and even if it takes 6 months from now or however long, write me and let me know what it is that the Lord has blessed you with, because you took a step for him, okay? Everybody have a very blessed day, and thank you again so much for joining me. And we'll do this again next Friday. So I will talk to you all probably tomorrow, all right? Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.